everyone, welcome to episode 19 of the weekly debate discussion show, #Shout. I am the Lone Walker 1.
And I'm Studio313, and with us this week is the reigning #Shout quiz champion and the co-host of #Total Marker. Please welcome Dan, the Geek King, Adamson. How you doing, Dan?
I'm just fucking smashing.
Although you couldn't tout, which is a damn shame.
I know, I want tout.
We will tout, damn it.
Tout!
Every week we will be bringing you some of the news from the week, funny stories to the controversial. We'll also have my tweets of the week, and I will be sharing the results of my #Fancast challenge.
What are yours?
From history to the future, from censorship to... we discuss everything and anything, from the good, the bad, and to the ugly.
That was really clever. I actually liked what you did there.
As that
But with all that bullshitting, absolute console out of the way,
Hornswoggle, apparently.
and you know, the usual console, let's get on to this
I
bullshitting,
reckon
boring
this
news.
Stephen, I reckon there should be a new segment, Dan's Word of the Week, in which he takes a word that is a synonym for BS and uses it. I reckon that could be it.
Can you still not swear?
No.
He just prefers not to. That's the thing.
Yes.
That's bullshit.
Anyway, starting with it would be awesome if all the news segments opened up. Thank you. Alright, starting with the first article I have. It appears that human teeth, whilst they may not match those of tiger sharks in size and number, apparently are just as strong, according to results. Basically, scientists have been doing a bit of testing. They found that human teeth have the same strength as tiger sharks.
What?
That to me makes no sense.
It's bullshit.
It's like somebody punches me in the teeth, they're knocked the fuck out. So if I go and punch a shark's teeth,
That's not going to happen.
yeah, I'm sorry, I find that odd. But
Maybe their gums are stronger.
But it says that they found that despite the teeth of the top ocean predator being coated with super tough enamel, they are no stronger than the average humans. Bullshit! I'm sorry, I call bullshit on this one.
That was Dan's opinion.
Nothing can survive that.
Moving on.
Yes, Yorkshire Day, celebrated down under. So basically, a rural town in New Zealand is going to be the first community in the world to celebrate Yorkshire Day this year. I cannot even pronounce the name of this place. Could you?
I'll have a look.
Is it Waiuku?
That's correct.
Do you know that for certain?
Yeah.
Just check, because you could have just said, I could have gone, Belago, you go, yeah, that's
It's
correct.
either Waiuku or Waiuku.
Dude, you could have gone Beldigo.
Yeah, but it has 7,000 residents, including a high number of expats from the region.
Well, no wonder they're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
All the Yorkshire one going non-stop. You know what? You can't get that one down here.
Yeah.
You can't get a decent Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah. Well, basically, the event started on August 1st, it will start the August 1st event on Tuesday during the 11-hour time difference. So yeah, they're celebrating Yorkshire Day in New Zealand.
I know, it trended worldwide.
Well, there you go. I mean, I really could do. I mean, I had to do Yorkshire puns last night. They were rather nice, but
Made till I had two in the hole.
ooh, toad in the hole. Oh, aye.
My mum made homemade
Yeah,
toad in the hole.
but the sad thing is the only toad in the hole I ever really got was the one that you get at school. You know, and it was...
I remember.
You did not want school toad in the hole.
Maybe 5-6 years ago, where my mum and dad used to get us a toad in the hole. That was like from Asda or something like that, right? And I used to love it. I used to love it, right? But it was kind of like ready meals. It came in a tin, you put it in the oven, it was frozen. I just remember one day waking up thinking, what is this fucking shit that I'm eating? You know, you can't be an old-fashioned homemade toad in the hole. But
well, you could be a
Dan,
waste of a good toad in the hole.
you're not going to like this next story because it involves cats.
Oh, fuck's sake, man!
Basically, a runaway cat had a hair-raising trip after she travelled 2,000 miles from Turkey to Kent.
They're invading the fucking country!
Basically, the 6-week-old kitten
That's terrifying.
fell asleep
Terrifying.
in a lorry, which was driven all the way from Turkey to Kent.
That's fucking terrifying.
The tabby cat named Yonder
That's kind of funny.
was only discovered 9 days later when workers from the logistics company Davies Turner emptied the delivery trailer at the depot in Dartford.
That's fucking terrifying. They're invading the country.
It was one kitten.
That's even worse.
Come on, it's
It only takes one to lead the charge, and then all the little tabby cats.
just make sure you have a gun with what? Get one of those customized guns that has 10 rounds in it or something like that, right?
I just have to have my dog.
As long as you always have one bullet more than the amount of lives your enemy has.
I'll just have my dog.
Fair enough.
Or Sam Lewis to kill a cat.
And our final news story that I've brought, unless anyone else, I think you had news.
I have news!
Well,
I have breaking news.
this will be my last one. Teddy bears defeat Belarus generals. 2 generals in Belarus have been sacked after their...
Belarus.
Sorry. I can't read.
Belarus.
I can't read.
Anyway, they've been sacked after their country was invaded by hundreds of teddy bears. A light plane pilot from neighbouring Lithuania was able to evade the country's air defences and drop the bears decked out in parachutes and slogans supporting human rights.
I don't know about you, but I'd be fucking terrified if teddy bears were beating my security, because that means real people could.
The president,
Head.
Alexander Lushenko, has now sacked the air defence chief and the head of the border guard services.
No shit, Sherlock.
Imagine if that's your fucking legacy. You're like, I forgot hit the Great Wall. What about you? Teddy bears flew over and they invaded my country.
Why
I don't think Belarus speak Russian.
I picked a random accent. For fuck's sake.
Whoa! You're always getting angry these days.
Adam, your fucking news story.
Okay, calm down.
I didn't say it was boring. I just wanted to know why it was like that.
Hurry the fuck up.
Dude, calm down, seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, researchers have discovered that cells in tumours that seem to be responsible for regrowth of tumours could lead the way to new ways of preventing cancer. 3 separate studies on mice appear to have confirmed the view that the growth of tumours is driven by so-called cancer stem cells. The researchers claim to have resolved one of the biggest controversies in cancer research and say their work marks a paradigm shift in the field. These studies have been published in the journals of Nature and Science. Doctors often successfully reduce the size of tumours through various therapies, but often patients suffer relapse and the tumour regrows.
Okay, boring.
This is a breakthrough that could cure cancer, Dan.
It's still boring.
I want to hit you with an oversized hammer.
It's boring.
Anyway, this happens because therapies fail to eradicate a small proportion of cells that drive tumour growth, known as cancer stem cells.
You're going too far into detail.
Going far enough.
Keep it.
They believe that these are the cells that should be targeted to eliminate the tumour forever. According to Professor Cedric Blancpain of the Free University of Brussels, who led one of the studies, if these cells are indeed the cells that fuel tumour growth, then maybe you can target these cells and eradicate cancer for good.
The problem is, Adam, you chose a news story which is too serious for Dan's humour intellect. For him, it has to either involve something crazy, something terrifying, or something with boobs.
Boobs!
Well, dude, it will save countless breasts. And also, if you want...
Sorry, you've actually took that story and linked it to boobs.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, it's still boring, but it's not as boring.
And if you imagine, maybe to eradicate the stem cells, they have to send in like little tiny pilots and little tiny laser jets to shoot out like asteroids.
Okay, it's getting better. It's getting better.
With all the news, let's...
Oh, look, a cure for cancer.
Of course, I do have like one piece that we've just heard about. O.J. Simpson blames Oprah for jail.
Yeah, that's a bit odd. Why don't you tell us a bit more about that one?
Well,
Dan?
apparently Oprah's got this new show called Oprah: The Next Chapter, where she's going to go look into crime and celebrities who have committed acts against nature or whatever, some bullshit. You know what Oprah's like. Anything that involves someone jumping up in a fucking chair and crying and then getting divorced 7 years later.
I love Kate.
And then eating.
So apparently, Oprah loves chicken.
Yeah.
And apparently, she wanted to interview O.J. Simpson. A good friend of O.J. just said he won't do it because he wasn't fairly given a chance to show his side of the story during the tragedy that happened in 93, 95.
No.
During the trial, the famous trial of O.J., not the years later where he got arrested for 33 years of kidnap, armed robbery, and use of a deadly weapon. But let's not focus on that.
No.
Apparently, Oprah wants him to confess, and he says he probably won't do it unless she can get out of jail.
Yeah. But let's not waste too much time on a man who may or may not have killed his wife, you know?
All depends on which part of the racial line you're on in America. Whether you're black or white.
Indeed.
And that was the news. Let's keep it moving and check out my tweets of the week.
Tweets of the week!
We start with...
So basically we're not doing segment like segues. promo stuff because I've got no editing time to put it in.
Well, we just want to give you a break, dude. We just
It's
want
like, upload the MP3 and shut the fuck up, Stephen. We're sick of you whinging.
Because apparently I went a bit overboard on hashtag.
And we may have spoken about one Mr.
No.
One Mr. Person, and it took a lot of editing work to censor us out because me and Dan.
And by the way, despite the script, I have 2 tweets of the week.
I don't have one.
It's alright, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, we start with @RealKing Kong Bundy.
Oh, 3, 5!
So Monarch Butterfly today. What made it special is that it was the first time it wasn't stamped on the top of a stripper's ass.
5!
My next tweet is nearly it's from
Your first tweet.
my first tweet. Sorry, thank you, Dan. My first tweet is from Marcus Brooksaw. Nearly in Edinburgh, and it's sunny. So whoever's driving this train, I think you've missed out turning. Wow, gorgeous trip up here.
No trip.
Oh wow!
Just that.
You don't tweet things on.
Yeah.
The next one is from @AwesomeStinson.
Who?
@AwesomeStinson. Barney.
Barney Simpson.
That's not Barney's. Barney's official one is @Pro's Life.
I know. Yes.
And @ActuallyNPH. That's not even an official affiliate of Barney Stinson.
Sunglasses were invented so chicks can stare at me while they are with their boyfriends. True story.
Just ignore it.
My second and last tweet of the week comes from Bully Ray from TNA Wrestling, Real Bully 5150, to testify. Devon Dudley, his former tag partner. Hope you had a horrible birthday. Screw you. I hope fat ass Dreamer. Ate all your B-Day cake. You suck. #Bully Nation.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And my final one
And you forgot to say that Bully Ray is the king of Twitter.
@Ancient Proverbs. If the wind will not serve, take to the oars.
Yeah, that's so.
And, so those were Adam's and my tweets of the week. So let's roll right on to one of the #Fancast Challenge. Or as I've written in the script, Fancast Challenge.
Hey! Once.
So basically,
It's still hot.
now here's the thing. I have to readily admit this because Adam and I were both challenged by Dan.
Yep.
I haven't getting mine done for one reason. Well, 2 reasons. 1, I suck.
Yep.
2, I've been busy fucking
Here we
editing.
go again.
No, to be fair, we did give him a hell of a lot of work.
Mine will be ready next week. So I will be put on the spot where I have to give my fan cast for my challenge, which was Superman, involving Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, Darkseid, and Brainiac. So that'll be next week. And by the way, I fucking hate it already. Because I've had at least 3 different storyline ideas, which I've canned instantly.
Well, you did one Superman. Over Flash.
Yeah, because I at least know Superman to some degree. Flash, I'm kind of.
Would you like a change?
No.
Could I give you
this was
GL, Aquaman,
this was the challenge.
maybe Martian Manhunter?
This was the challenge. I shall do the challenge.
Okay.
Even if it turns out shit.
Maybe Cyborg,
No, it's
Teen
fine.
Titans.
Anyway, but Adam, however, being the expert that he is, has done his #Fancast Challenge.
I stayed up till around 10 o'clock this morning to do this.
I stood up till 10 o'clock this morning.
So,
Yeah.
Adam, before you start, let's get Dan here to remind the people at home exactly what your challenge was.
By the way, if it turns out I've done something wrong and I just find out now, I will cry.
Oh, sweet. I hope you cry.
Don't change it just to cause
I won't. Basically, the challenge was I had to do the first chapter of a Dark Knight trilogy, essentially, and I decided to make that lead up into the Justice League film. I challenged, as you rightly said yourself, Steve, to do a Superman film, and that would involve Darkseid, Brainiac, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and of course Clark Kal-El. I thought about calling Jor-El then. I didn't give you Jor-El, but I am now.
Every time you say Clark, I cringe.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't either.
And of course, we get through that period of time, that will go straight into the Justice League film. Yourself, Minifunk, Adam, you were given the creation of a Flash movie starring Wally West. Starring, the main villain is Greta Grodd, with Captain Boomerang as a sidekick. Depending, of course, how you did that, it was up to you.
Yes.
And all I really wanted was them to. I didn't give you any sidekicks. That was completely up to you. Whether you brought Ira West into it, whether you brought his science team into it, or any of the other Flashes, that was completely up to you. So, with that said, of course, this is also leading into the Justice League film. Minifunk, hit me with your fan cast.
Okay, well.
I just feel we should have Pat Benatar for sorry.
Hit me with your black ass, dude.
away.
Oh,
Maybe we can record that after the show.
Yeah, sure.
well,
I'll just call Pat up, shall I?
casting-wise, there were going to be a few. I only really cast 4 people in the entirety of the film.
There's only 4 people in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, should I cast it? No, let's not cast it.
We did have some extras, but we thought, why not just get a mop and a wig?
Dude,
I like my mop.
we're losing people.
So, of course, I went for the fanboy choice for Flash. I have to.
Yeah.
Of course, Mr. Neil Patrick Harris. He has the right look, attitude, and kind of persona, that kind of charisma for the role itself.
Yeah, that's clever.
Now, I went for a weird kind of choice for Gorilla Grodd because I tried to go for a man that can speak eloquently, but has that kind of a deep voice and accent.
Yeah.
So, I went for Reginald D. Hunter.
That's awesome. The coolest man in stand-up.
And the reason being, he went on John Ross interview. On John Ross, he was stating that he wanted to get into like serious acting and voicing over roles, and I think he has the ability to be eloquent in vocabulary and have the voice to be believable as Gorilla Grodd. Captain Boomerang. Now, I read up on Captain Boomerang. I went and did my homework. Forgetting my actual homework to do this homework. And I went for someone who has knowledge of comic book films, has the right look for Captain Boomerang, and the right accent. Hugh Jackman.
Ah, alright, that's an interesting one, yeah.
Yeah, he has that kind of accent, he has the kind of grizzly look about him, the kind of cool Australian thing, and he has just sheer skill to play him. Also going through research, I was looking at the only real sidekick I had was Linda.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, which female could work alongside Neil Patrick Harris in a relationship context, or as a flirt context, and would also have good ideas as a reporter.
I can see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Colby Smulders by any chance?
Yes, that's straight for Colby Smulders. Robin from How I Met Your Mother.
Give us a minute, I'll get a picture of her.
She has knowledge of working on screen in relationship-wise with Neil Patrick Harris. She's played a reporter before. She has the right look and kind of personality for the role.
I love the fact that you two guys said Robin from How I Met Your Mother, as if that's meant to mean 2 shits to me.
She's a pretty lady. That's pretty much the gist of what you need to do.
That's for Dan. I don't go by pretty lady.
Okay, she's quite a good actress.
She's very good.
Now, I kind of again feel that I'll be told off the amount of detail I actually went into when writing the plot of this. Yes. But I did actually go into quite a fair bit of detail. Like, I wrote a fucking screenplay.
Whereas I wrote a synopsis.
Yeah,
I wrote a suicide note.
The idea is...
My name was Clark. I improperly... No.
we can't talk about wrestling news.
You're just getting away with that one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
For your sake, so the Lord's better know.
The idea of the film was I wanted to do the origin of both Gorilla Grodd and the Flash, and I tried getting Captain Boomerang's thing.
Origin?
Origin, thank you. I just said the word twice. I think if I can remember it. But I couldn't quite write that in.
Dude, I couldn't remember the word Belarus.
No, you could. You just couldn't pronounce it.
Yes. I would start with the original origin.
I didn't know. I couldn't remember it either.
I would start with the original kind of jungle scene where you see Gorilla Grodd and his tribe apes, but I went for a mixed up version of which the scientists were involved in the kind of tracking and studying of them, you know, as scientists seem to want to do because apes are fascinating.
Overrated.
For God's sake. For Grodd's sake, even.
Nice one.
Thank you. I would have the scientists kind of sitting there remarking on the normality of the apes and how it's a bit of a waste of time. At this point, that would be where the UFO crashes to the Earth. This is...
You say that as if it's an everyday occurrence.
Well...
That'll be when the UFO hits the Earth.
Well, you know, ask the people who believe in Roswell, they say it is. Crazy mother... Anyway, my point is this.
I'm just looking at a couple of fan casts here just to see whereabouts your casting seems to go.
Mm-hmm.
And Boomerang, you're kind of in the right realm because they've either gone for an older gentleman like Ralph Brown, who's appeared in various sci-fi stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or Gerard Butler, who was the same kind of makeup as Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Scientists would then wander at the wreckage, find Gorilla Grodd. This would be where you discover that he's gained these higher intelligence as he kind of walks over, and scientists turn to each other saying, "I think he's okay," and Gorilla Grodd would simply say, "Grodd, okay." At that point, we would go into this kind of montage where they're teaching Gorilla Grodd how to use his new powers and teaching him how to speak as humans do, putting in kind of research.
They're always obsessed with that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody has powers. Let's teach him how to use it. I'm like, no, how would we kill the bastard? I've seen these movies. That thing's gonna kill us.
Afterwards, I would like.
More like the wife got me harness it.
I would like to, after that, go into this point of it where Gorilla is walking around with scientists, kind of speaking as he was like almost friendly with them when he looks out a window and sees his gorilla tribe kind of like being tested on, not in a kind of scalpel electrocution, but like mice in a maze kind of thing, where God would kind of ask,
observe, basically.
Yeah, basically, what are you doing here? Just goes, we're trying to test for such and such and such, while entertaining the gorillas and us at the same time. Grodd would kind of not see this in the right way, take offense to it. At this point, he would kind of think of himself with his new powers and question the superiority complex and that kind of thing, and that's when he'd start killing everyone.
As you do.
Murder all scientists, free his gorillas, and in the process free their alien leader.
Sounds good so far.
Going away, they would then go off and construct Gorilla City, which would nicely explain his origins.
Uh-huh.
Then we would cut to the Flash fighting with Captain Boomerang in a vast open-spaced warehouse.
So Boomerang's always established.
Yes.
That's a nice one.
The Captain would throw a boomerang, which Flash would be too fast to get caught by. In fact, he'd grab it out of midair, throw it back, and scar him. He would then... you see how much detail I went into this. I got bored and just started writing the second story. I would then have Flash run around him in a circle, creating a dust cloud from old bits of rock and stuff, and then just roundhouse kick him. Police would arrive, take the incapacitated Captain Boomerang away. Flash would then go off, show off to the cameras, talk to Linda and all that kind of jazz, and then go home and do whatever he wanted to do when he was at home. Not like that.
What age is this film?
I don't know. Depends on how much I'm paying Kobe Smalls and Neil Patrick Harris.
I'm assuming that it's DC is going to be a 12.
The point is, the only bit about this scene that I would have to have perfect would be a conversation in which Linda and Flash would be talking. Like, Linda would go, "So you reckon you can rest for a little while?" Flash would counter with, "I guess so, so long as you don't need a story." Linda would say, "You know what? I don't think I will for a little while." We would cut back to Gorilla City, where explorers stumble upon the city itself in search of the missing scientists. Grodd, using mind control powers, would force one of the explorers to kill the alien leader, as is the story itself, allowing Grodd to take over the city and then plan to take over the world. From this point onwards, I basically went with the rest of the Gorilla Grodd origin story, in which one of the other sends telepathic word to Wally, who then stops him, and Gorilla Grodd will be defeated after 30 scenes of fighting and planning and all that kind of jazz. The only thing left I got was, after the credits, we would cut to a black screen with the words 5 years later written on it, and from the shadows you would see like a metal kind of door swing open, and a familiar Australian voice saying, "It's about time."
Okay.
Yep. And that was my hashtag fancast.
That's pretty cool.
I'll say one thing that, because when you're doing your fancast, there's one name which cropped up. I don't know. I feel really bad saying. I don't know. I hope he's still around. I don't know, because obviously with Hollywood Knows Jazz, you don't know who's kicking around and who isn't.
Mm-hmm.
A name that I would love to be the voice of Grodd would be John Rhys Davies.
Ooh, yeah.
The old professor from Sliders, is usually the first place people remember him from. But I think he would be a brilliant voice. He's the voice of the intellect. He's got a charming kind of demeanor about him. But yeah, I think decent. Obviously, I can't. The actress, I've seen her in everything else. I haven't seen her in Bloody How I Met Your Mother because I don't watch that. not my taste, really.
We never said you had to.
No,
but you went straight into defensive.
No, I'm just explaining. I've never, watched it 'cause it's not my thing. But
yeah, he's still kicking about.
oh, thank God. But yeah,
He's it says the Arab excavator Salah in the Indiana Jones films.
oh yeah.
He's the dwarf Gimli in the Lord of the Rings. He hold on.
But my point is, I think Hugh Jackman, great choice.
Mm-hmm.
It actually brings a certain level of sincerity to the role. Because obviously, if you look at the animated adventures, where kind of he's played more as a joke than anything. Even in this, there's one episode, just I think limited, where you got Captain X, Boomerang. What's he called? Is it the Watcher, the Timekeeper, or he's actually a Batman villain, I believe. He's a guy. He's obsessed with time. The first Batman one he ever appeared in.
You're not thinking Calendar Man, are you?
No, it's not Calendar Man. It's he's a guy. He dresses very smart, bowler hat. He always has a fob watch about him. I think he turned evil because he missed a very important appointment due to being late or something like that, and he became obsessed with time. No, I'll have to find him.
Hold on. Timekeeper.
Might be Timekeeper or something like that. I don't know his actual name.
The Clock King?
Clock King. Could be that. Could definitely be. Sorry, just looking this.
It will drive us mad if we don't.
Yeah, Clock King. That's
Other versions. Flashpoint, Innova Media.
Yeah, it's
television. He was in the 60s Batman line. There you go, Batman the Animated Series.
He was like the only one, because even in Batman he was kind of a joke, but in Justice League...
That's the look that you're probably
yeah, that was the one, yeah, I was just sort of... But basically, it was Captain X, the Clock King, Boomerang, some woman whose big thing was plastiques.
Plastique.
Yeah, oh, well, there you go.
I love when that happens.
And they hired some assassin who was, I think, he was either Puerto Rican or he was...
Carlito?
He was either...
Primo.
Backstabber!
Epico!
All of them!
Anyway.
Rosa Mendez! Mama.
All the Puerto Ricans!
Anyway.
It was Puerto Rico in general, right?
Yeah, but that was that was the one episode where they tried to make it look as serious as possible, and even then Boomerang was still a fucking numpty.
Oh, yeah.
So I always felt that, it was hard to get behind a character like that. But I think that was a pretty good fan cast there.
It was well done. Well
I mean, you set the challenge, dude. You happy with what you came up with?
Yeah, very much.
And hopefully I can match or do better next week.
Yes,
I doubt it.
I believe once we've done that, it will be Adam's choice to send the challenges.
It will be. And you've got to remember, this isn't just a DC or a Marvel thing. This could be anything, as long as we have an understanding of the characters. And God knows what we could be throwing, But as I said, with all that wrapped up, we're going to open up the floor for any topics. And one quick question I'd like to ask you, because it's come up recently in personal conversation between yourself, me, Jasmine, or Jasmine, talking about the subject. Here's the question I have. Ultimately speaking, right? Is marriage now just a legal thing? Is that all it is these days now?
For some, I generally do see people, and I know people who are into the whole kind of romantic marriage idea, and I do see people who don't want to because, well, basically it's just a ceremony, and that's pretty much it's different things to different people.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of that's kind of cementing it.
Well, it just seems like to me it's here's the thing. I've always wanted to get married at some point, right? To the person who I assume I would love at the time. I think that's the general idea of marriage, is it not?
Yeah, it's kind of like downward steps.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm supposed to I'll be getting married probably 2013, and
with a bit of luck.
With a bit of
providing
luck,
the mind,
and provided that the universe works the way it does, it would be to my fiance. It's
in Mother Russia, you don't marry your fiance. Your fiance marries you.
Yeah, but to me, marriage is this big thing where it's not about how big the ceremony is; it's how genuine it is. To my lass, it's the scariest thing in the fucking world. She can't imagine anything more terrifying than this. And this lass was trained for war. So, it's kind of like, it feels like, because the way we're doing it, it's going to be like a really small ceremony. It's probably going to be like you guys and the person authorizing.
Not that I don't doubt that, but everyone says that. Everyone always says it'll be a small ceremony.
Bullshit.
And
It was a small outdoor ceremony with just a couple of friends.
Yeah.
Maybe a guitar player.
You ain't got the friends that I've got, Adam. Because when I take one friend, I ask, "So you're doing a small thing?" Fuck that. We're blowing the whole budget on this. You know what I mean? It's like, at least you're honest. No, for us, it's essentially it's going to be we're going to go to the registrar office, get married, and then get pissed. Woohoo! Even I'll be getting drunk on that day. But the thing is,
on that day he was
So
equal.
were you.
The problem is.
Yeah, well.
The problem is, my best man is a guy called Paul Crackett, who might be on Total Markout one of these days. Sorry, hashtag Total Markout. You know,
Yeah, ghost of Jisby.
yeah. So please don't get possessed by just me again. That's probably why you have to take a week off.
I don't know what happened.
I know, but
No, you suspended me.
we'll more on that later. But basically, he's my best man, and I'm just like, I don't plan on having a stag night. I don't see the point. If you guys want to go get drunk, be my guest.
I didn't have an excuse to get drunk.
Do you reckon Crackett's going to try to stint in it?
No.
The thing is, because
just be aware, he might kidnap you and take you to Las Vegas.
I'll knock the fucker out. I don't know how, because he's a bigger motherfucker than I am. But mind
It's
you,
not hard.
you are a cruel and unusual bastard.
Never said I wasn't.
At least we agree. Anyway,
Hamster!
but anyway, I'm kind of worried because I you know what it is? Like, if I was going to be someone's best man at a wedding, I'd be the guy that makes sure everything runs like fucking clockwork and nothing goes wrong. And then
Do you know what you need to say? All you need to learn. All the phrase that needs to matter on a wedding.
What?
It's for the bride.
Right.
Yeah, if you say it to the bride, we can get anything done.
Yeah.
You gotta try that out.
I still have to try it.
But my point is, like, the last thing I need is like
Hit a pint for the bride.
the last thing I need is someone trying to be like a clever dick and like making stupid jokes or
Oh,
like,
everyone makes the same fucking comments as well. They always do the same kind of cliche comments, you know, like, what?
It's like, I never thought you'd get with anyone. I thought he's going to be forever alone or something.
No,
they
I
make
mean,
jokes about some bitch she shy.
No, I mean, like they'll always say they'll go like, let's go pie now, you'll never get to again, that kind of crap. You just want to slap them in the face.
I think if anyone ever said that to me, I would have permission to, vomit in their face and then shove the largest object I can down.
You can have a list of cliches that won't be happening at your wedding.
No,
I guarantee every single one would be broken.
Yeah, dude, how are they going to do a conga?
Well,
yeah.
here's the basic plan. The basic plan would be, like, what you guys do for your stag night. Well, I'm not having one because I don't do them, but I think my mates are all going to get drunk.
Do you know what I want to do for my stag night? I want to do a conga on the the wall. Not the Great Wall of China, the one,
That would be one hell of a stag do. Just a
The
bunch
one
of
from Wall's End.
just a bunch of people from near camp.
Yeah.
Just a
You
bunch
couldn't remember Hadrian's Wall.
No, my mind went black. It went stag night and then just drifted completely.
a bunch of drunk Geordies on the Great Wall of China going, Jew, 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 come on and do the conga. Come on! The other Chinese going,
That makes it sound as if we will be able to talk.
well, it depends how much. Well, you might.
Throwing teddy bears over the wall.
Where's the wall? Where's the wall? My bad.
It's like,
Or whatever the Chinese equivalent is.
Ah!
I imagine. Throw chopsticks at
Godzilla!
Steven,
that's
you're tiny.
Steven, isn't that Japan? Like, fuck off. It's Oriental, isn't it? But what I love is this idea, because I remember, like, ages ago, like, the first time I ever thought I was going to get married, in my head I had the engagement planned out, I had this idea of, if we did, she'd probably want, like, a huge wedding and all this shit. And then that completely fell through. Basically, apparently, you can rip someone's heart apart simply by 2 lines of a text.
Yeah.
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 But,
It happened.
years later, engagement is...
that solemn fact. Anyway.
But what's awesome was, like, years later, here I am engaged again, and instead of being like, oh my gosh, she's going to want a big wedding and all of that, I'm probably thinking, I could probably buy everything I need for this wedding at, let's see,
Poundland.
home base in Asda.
Do you know
But
what
to be fair, you do need to do. We discussed this. You do need to do a little something because of the circumstances involved in the wedding.
Yeah, it is a bit odd because obviously I'm marrying an American, and the idea is to live here, and it's a bit odd because my lass doesn't want a big wedding, and
At all.
well, she doesn't want a wedding.
She wants to go to the signed piece of paper.
Yeah.
In jeans and t-shirt.
Yeah. See, I've never really cared for the ceremony. It's the act itself.
Well, at least you're not doing a Catholic one.
See,
Yeah.
I've kind of learned the ways, and I've figured out the best way to deal with a wedding is ask the lass what kind of wedding she's always wanted, and then agree and say that's what you've always wanted as well.
That's not going to work with Etta. She never wanted the wedding.
I know, but with any other with any other lass, but Etta's different because I don't know. I think the stars roll in
But
alignment.
The thing is, my point is, so basically, she doesn't really want that big wedding. I'm fine with that. I'm probably looking more forward to the honeymoon than anything. But so is she. But here's the big thing.
That's something your little brother really wanted to know.
Oh please, like he's not going to figure that out.
They're figuring it out and then it's blatantly being told
Dad,
on the internet.
I can just see you and I'm sitting in a bar and you going, so what do you think Steve and Etta are doing over in, let's say, Malta? Oh, well, I'm sure they're enjoying the sights, enjoying the food, and nothing much else.
No.
Why
would I be in a bar and go, what do you think that your brother and his new wife are doing somewhere?
Probably the conversation was probably when you suddenly realise that I'd left my credit card at Am's Care. Hence you at the bar.
Yeah, and that would not ever pop up the conversation of what you think they're doing right now. That would pop up the conversation of, yo, get the next round in.
That would be a situation where I just go, Dad, what? Magic. I'd palm it and just be like, Poof.
But basically, when it comes to she's American, we're over here, that's fine. But we want a small wedding. And once we are married, she has a visa to live in this country. Yet, when you look at the situation from an immigration point of view, so hang on, you're moving over here, you've already been over there like once. She's moving over here, you're having an incredibly small, cheap wedding. Do you know what I mean? It's like
just let them listen to this episode as testify. Or get Devon to testify for you.
I'd rather not.
Gets it selected in
Yes!
That's a marriage!
marriage!
Dude, we could be no, we would be sitting about it like sad and just you know what? It's kind of a bit sad. It's just like, it's alright, I've got an idea. On the 4th. Damn, we're going somewhere. Where? The whole train.
There will be no whore train at my wedding.
What?
No. How
about a whole bus replacement service?
We are English. We will need a bus replacement service for the train.
Can I at least bring the prostitute name back?
I'm just thinking, maybe we should rename the prostitute.
Why are we renaming the prostitute?
Just to somebody don't sit around with me calling it Beth.
Okay, let's go with this could be the game for the week.
Amelia.
It's too high class.
Amelia is high class.
Yeah.
What do you think fucking Beth is?
It's fake.
No, she ain't.
So
low.
That's really, I can't do a shoulder pat on that. I have to get both my hands just to cover half the surface area.
Which is Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, when Atlas had to get in the bathroom, he turned to her down and just goes, "Can you hold this for a moment, please?" Oh, I didn't bother. Just stood there with a pint in one hand, the sky on the other shoulder.
That pansy Atlas needed 2 hands. Okay, so Stephen, we need name.
Sorry, the fact that you call it Atlas, the guy who held the sky up in his arms. You're turning around and going, "Fucking puff."
Okay.
Held the sky. You're like pretty stars.
We need to come up with a name for a prostitute. We need your help.
Why do you think that I'm the guy?
Because you always help
Camellia.
Camellia. Ooh.
Lexus.
No, because she's not a car.
Well. Alright, McCullough. No.
Mel?
No, that'd just be weird.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't bring up any of my ex's names.
Who said anything I had to do with an ex?
What kind of weird trash names are there for hookers?
I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna think the same route.
Roxanne?
You're gonna think I'm going the same route that I just told you not to. But I didn't know a bike in school that was called Charlotte. Oh my god! There was a lass in my school who fucked everyone but
Carla.
Okay, it has to be someone who misspells their name for some fucking reason.
Candy.
With a K. Or
Candy with a K and an I.
yes.
Yeah,
Candy the prostitute.
Candy
the prostitute.
I don't know. It's Candy the prostitute.
Destiny.
What? Did you say destiny?
It
is my destiny!
They're like strippers. They always have shitty names, and Destiny is usually one that they're being called.
Or Sapphire.
Usually.
It's usually Destiny or Sapphire or Tiffany or...
Tiffany with an I.
Respect.
Definitely got 2 F's though.
You know what's funny? This is probably the longest time we've talked about prostitutes without bringing up the subject of sex.
We can if you like.
No, it's just the fact that we've been spending, maybe 3 to 5 minutes naming a fictitious
I do have a story kind of around this.
Oh, God.
It's that we went on a college trip, me and our co-host on #TalkMarkout, Eric Van Gisme.
And the D is silent.
And there was this...
Why did I say that?
And there was this girl who was thick as pig shit. And we got her to go around when she was pissed, to go around amongst the people that we were with, like the crew that went around. Sucky $5. And she did not have a clue what we were doing.
That was one of the Steve would try to come up with those words. It went, got a second it says, went, it just amused me.
Honest to God, we did. We would say,
I just.
And we waited the whole week to tell her until the last day to tell her what it was, because she ended up telling there was this coaches as we were getting on back on the ferry. This coach and lads were on the other side, and they were like, "Nah, put up pieces of paper show us your tits in that, so I ripped my top off." Wasn't the tits they were after, but
Trolling like a boss.
And she went, "Give me a piece of paper, I'll put sucky $5." I went, "No, you won't." No, you really won't. Why? And that's when we had to explain what it was.
What's scary though is when you said it the first time, go around $65. When you ended it, it sounded like you were only halfway through the story. I was just worried. What happened next? Because we're talking about prostitution.
I was just entertaining that this girl had no idea what she was saying for the entire week, and it was basically, "I'll blow you for $5."
Yeah.
We love you, love that.
I remember back in Barcelona leaving my hotel room this one night to go have a drink. Coming back, put card for the room. I wouldn't trust anyone with the card key because I knew if they had the card key, they'd lose it. They'd throw it out the window to get stolen by a pigeon or something stupid. But I kind of just go back and oh yeah, open the door, and there's the rest of the guys and a room full of lasses. And I've been away for maybe 5 minutes. And I just kind of started going.
They work fast.
And the sad thing was, it was at that moment I realised that for a brief moment of time I had become the Blitz.
Oh no!
But it's all right. I passed it on to someone else.
Oh man!
I was like, oh man! And then Durgan went, "Okay, guys, I gotta go see the teachers now." And he buggered off, and I was like, "Okay, I've got an idea. Let's just wait." And good stuff started happening. There was a bird.
Don't you have a conversation about prostitutes?
Sorry?
Don't you have an interesting one about prostitutes?
Yes, I do. I think it's something we've talked about on the show before. I was in Malta.
I like this story. It involves prostitutes.
Malta is famous primarily for its religious. Obviously, the what are they called? The
cathedrals?
No, it's the Knights.
Monastery?
No, it's the
Templars?
The Templar Knights. Yes, it's the most famous. As well as the churches. Just. One day I decided I was going to walk around on my own, and I said to Vince, who was my how do I put this? He was my ex's dad, and I was going on holiday with my ex because I'd already paid the ticket and I wasn't giving it up. It was going to be the first holiday out of the country I'd ever been on. Fuck it, I'm going to enjoy myself. So I turned to Vince and say, "Vince, I'm going to go wandering on my own." And he says, "Oh, where you there? Have fun." And obviously, you're that way around now. I said, "I didn't bother. I think I'll go visit some of the churches." Because I've got quite a few churches. He goes, "All right." Now, if the bastard told me that in Belize, there ain't a fucking church. Not Belize, see Belize, I've got Belize in my head now.
I don't know why it was Belarus before.
Yeah. But Bajiba is the place I'm looking for. Speaking of places I was looking for. So I went there for a change. I was looking all over the place. And trust me to pick the day where nobody fucking speaks English. So I'm looking around. And then I find this building with a cross outside, and it says something Sanctus something or other. And it's like, okay, that's saying something or other. Got a cross outside. Easy bet, it's got to be a holy building of some kind. Well, yeah. I walk in, and you hear the usual moans going on. You see some women walking around dressed in a provocative nature, but in Malta, that's no fucking surprise, you know what I mean? I was walking around Malta on my own, and I found a couple of lasses who, quite frankly, felt that they needed to get a tan everywhere. All I was thinking was, I'm single now. But I'm standing there, and I'm thinking, this is not right. And then, of course, it clicked where I was. I'd walked into a brothel. And I suppose receptionist, whatever you call that.
Mistress
comes up to me.
You madam, sorry.
And basically asks me in a seductive voice, which I won't replicate because, quite frankly, some of you may be eating your breakfast or lunch. Turn around and basically said in a seductive manner, is there anything I can help you with? To which point I replied, being the straightforward talking guy that I am, my response was, actually, I was looking for the church. And she went, oh, no problem. Basically, if you go down this road, and she gave me the directions. I went, and again, being the guy of tact that I am, I said, you do appreciate the irony of this, right? She goes, what do you mean? I says, well, essentially, you are a prostitute or all telling me the way to church. And she goes, and she laughs, and she goes, trust me, happens all the time. And then
I'm sure
she did inquire if I was interested in any services. I declined and said, maybe later. It felt like the polite way to go about it.
The polite, genuine way of, maybe later I'll pay to have a blowjob.
Exactly. But yeah, that was my little story of. What's really annoyed me is that when we both, me and the family, we all got to the restaurant the night, and they were all laughing at the story. But at the same time, Chris, Max's brother, and I both were interested in the waitress at the restaurant we were at, and she was smoking, right? And I don't mean like she was.
Horrible habit.
I wasn't even going there, but I mean, we're talking about very much near the 10 number here. Very, very much.
Hello.
And Chris got there before I did. Believe it or not, Chris beat me to it. I was pissed off with him.
Yeah, it's not hard. You are a slow dude.
You don't know Chris.
I mean, physically.
God loved the guy, but his entire day is spent in his room playing online fantasy games whilst eating nothing but Doritos. And just get that first Christmas present, right? If you just, all he usually gets is a couple of packets of crisps and Coke, and that's him. That's him sold, And to be honest with you, what really annoys me, I kind of felt the same way. I'm kind of like, if someone would decide just for Christmas to get me a couple of packs of cans of Iron Brew, so I consider that that's pretty awesome of you. Cheers, dude, But it's kind of like, I'd want a bit more than that. I'd like a card with a nice message and not just like, well, from you, Dan. I swear, I think I might be one of the few people you can hug and not kill.
No.
That's the thing. I was in a Boston. There was a waitress at a tapas bar we all liked.
I don't know why the phrase "waitress" and "tapas" just makes me laugh so much, but there's something about it.
But yeah,
either way he goes, we all liked.
Yeah, all the guys, even the sixth formers, were like high over, and they thought the weirdest way to get our attention was to make origami crap with napkins. I wish I were kidding. The sixth formers were drinking, and we were just stupid. So they're all leaving, and
that's how it works.
And they're handing you all the stuff, and I'm like the last guy in line.
Yeah.
I just pull out my wallet and I go, I can't make origami stuff, but here's a tip. I got the most attention of the day. I got the most attention of the day.
They're being poor assholes, and you're sitting there going, I can give you a tip. What can they do?
I can't make stuff with paper, but I have paper.
What you should have done was try to make an origami out the tip. Actually, I mean, I have a lot of stories about gullible people.
Uh-huh.
Usually all about something Eric Van Gisby has told them.
Oh, God.
And they believed.
Oh, God.
And since we're going down the crude line anyway.
I wish I knew the kind of stupid girls you knew.
I did as
You
well,
do.
but unfortunately, I was the guy they wanted to find someone like, but not that guy.
I've been there, my friend.
Sad boom.
However,
There's no
there
such
was
thing
always
as a
good
sad-
conversations you have with them.
Yeah.
Like, one of them believed that we found, on the way to Strasbourg, on the same trip we told the last, $75.
Yeah.
Someone went on the phone to a friend, and we told the friend, and in the background you heard, look, it's the Eiffel Tower. Why the fuck is it the Eiffel Tower? We're nowhere near France. We're in England. And someone goes, yeah, that's right. Look, there's another one. And another one. It was like building pylons. And on the phone, she turned around and goes, oh, that's the Eiffel Tower. Where's the Eiffel Tower again? And I turned around and looked at the sign, like the motorway sign, like to tell you how far away you were from somewhere. Like, it's Peterborough by the sounds of it. Is it really? I thought it was in Paris. We convinced the girl that,
Yeah.
that a girl, what was it? That's right, that horses lay blue eggs.
Mm.
The same girl who was convinced that Peterborough now had the Eiffel Tower also believes you get pregnant by swallowing.
I remember this last was nowhere near
It's
as stupid.
physiology, physically impossible, but never mind.
Well, not when it's Liam Neeson's.
Well, when it's Liam Neeson, that's different.
But I remember in a science class, the room was kind of silent because we were all doing this controlled assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And all we heard from the back row was just a okay, sit up and stare. This one lass sat up straight. And she goes, says, oh, sorry everyone. We just go, what are you laughing at? She goes, I just thought of a science joke. We were expecting something in there. She goes, scientist just wrote a book, I was reading a book on helium, you just can't put it down. And we were all just kind of staring at it going, oh, bless.
Just a little chuckle.
We just kind of all wanted to go up, give her a hug, just let her nap in the corner, just all blessed. It's okay. We'll just go do the grown-up work next. And that's when, because I remember, I say I'll go do the grown-up work now. Me and Jack used to sit and have conversations of the most random crap I've ever come up with. Like, I think one lesson we came up with the theory that I don't have a heart. I have a rather disgruntled ostrich who likes to smoke, who operates different valves and tubes within me.
I was told that when I was in year 9, which was about 13? About 13 year old, that I don't have a heart. I have a cold, black, small, coal-like object where it should be, with a small glimmer of hope of one of my best friends.
Well, it sounds to me like they have a rare disease called douchebag.
No, actually, it was the way I'd been acting around for the last week and a half. I've been getting pissed around, so I just decided to be really cold and heartless. And that was it. He goes, Dan, you really lost all heart, haven't you? You just got this cold, black ice thing.
See, when I was at school, I don't know if people believed I had a heart or not, but they were fucking desperate to find it the way they were punching my chest up.
Didn't have that problem.
I did for the first few years of being. I remember, I think, the third or fourth day I got thrown down a fucking hill.
Yes.
I got picked up and like bar tossed down a feckin' hill. And as I was rolling down this hill, questioning whether or not my head was going to hit the tree, I kind of remember this thing, I just going, dear sweet, I've done nothing to these people. At all.
I was going to do something to these people. I was fucking livid
Oh,
when I found that shit out.
Yeah, and teachers as well. God, I remember him getting annoyed with teachers for being douchebags to me.
Yeah, I would continue the parents that hold me back going, Joey, see it's our son, not yours. So he's my brother. I'll kill these bastards.
I should have my vengeance.
I mean, you'd think that I'd been killed by it, and on my deathbed I went, avenge me!
To be fair, I was just looking for an excuse to wear the cowl and cape.
By the way, here's the deal. I'm stating it here now. If I die, I don't care how...
I think you mean when you die.
No, if. As Eric Van Jesby says, in the game of life, losing is dying. Hence why you should live forever and win.
But
unless you have Ra's al Ghul's pit.
But here's the deal.
Lazarus Pit. Batman!
Here's the deal. If I die within the next few weeks or month, I don't write up a will. I want you to avenge me no matter what killed me. If it's cancer, I want you basically to make a giant model of a tumour and beat it with a hammer.
Or you could cure cancer like you was trying to explain before in a really boring way.
I must read through the research notes. Raw is on!
Okay.
Raw is...
Yo, Steve!
What?
Divas!
Jazz! Are they in a match?
Yes, it's Caitlin versus AJ.
No!
You know, in my will, I will have just
Oh shit, that's Lena!
just with a little asterisk. I will have the word jazz written there with a full stop.
What the fuck is that?
Dude,
jazz?
Dude, why don't you do like a Photoshop thing, like a power representation, where it's Caitlin and AJ telling you the science stuff?
That wouldn't be boring.
I remember
Do
reading.
you know what else isn't boring?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Batman.
I was reading a manga.
Maybe he was wondering why you'd shoot a man and then throw him out of the plane.
That isn't a bad impression, to be fair. But
That
yeah,
actually was quite a good impression.
we all saw The Dark Knight Rises.
It was awesome!
We loved it! It was awesome! It was the Batman and the Bane and the Catwoman and the Golden and the...
With the haven and the living and the finances.
The following section of the show will contain spoilers.
You have been warned. There are spoilers.
Spoilers!
Spoilers! Spoilers!
Now,
Spoilers!
now with that warning said,
Spoilers!
let's get on with the Dark Knight Rises!
Oh my god! It was
What I liked about this movie is how quickly they introduced the villain. Just right there, you know.
First 8 minutes, you knew Bane and you knew the badass.
And half the way.
A bomb!
harmonies, guys. Harmonies.
Okay.
I don't harmonize.
You do melody then.
You just
The what?
What you did before.
you just did that well harmonize. Steven, I'll let you go first after. Okay, Dan, you ready?
A bomb! That was nice. I liked it. That was nice.
That was
nice.
That was a good moment.
Of course, you know. And then every time Alfred came on the fucking show, on the fucking TV.
Damn you, Alfred!
Oh my heart!
The thing is, I was
My ostrich!
when I was in bed.
When I was in Burma.
Oh yeah, about
I took a note written by your ex that said she doesn't love you and she's going with Two-Face.
Don't you dare use Rachel against me.
Or I'm not using Rachel against you. However,
When I was in Burma.
when I was in bed, you see, some men just want to watch the world burn. So you know what I did? I threw them in the furnace. Motherfuckers.
I peed on the forest.
Oh, pity the fool who wants to watch the world burn. And if you're not down with that, got 2 words for you. Sack it.
But yeah,
That's the way. I bong the hole.
Shay is very much an improvement on the old one, who I banned as well.
I'll tell you what. It wasn't just the doors I bloody blew off, if you know what I mean.
It was her back doors, and she was fucking smashing. She fucking loved every minute of my cane, if you know what I mean.
I wish you could have seen the smile on Dad's face after he finished. It was midway between Joker when his plan comes together and a kid who's just found an extra lollipop.
The greatest part of the film though was the trailer at the beginning when the IMAX kicked in.
Oh, that was a beautiful moment.
It was like the beginning. It's like when you see the fucking advert for the old THQ sound.
Yeah.
That's what we used to sitting there going, "What the hell is this?"
Dad, what? I'm scared. Meanwhile, I pretty much was tying myself down to the chair.
And
I just got the word playing to the Space Odyssey. But this is like when you've got like things like cars driving by the screen, and all of a sudden you feel the breeze on your ankles. You're like, what the fuck is this? The cinema is throwing wind to my feet. This is not normal.
you vibrate in the chair when like a tank goes past.
Yeah.
Oh, when the bat flew over just.
Almost in sync, man.
When the bat flew over, we all got a back massage.
It was great. And of course, sitting there watching it, huge ass screen, and Catwoman eventually goes on the Bat Pod, and that was a absolutely amazing shot. And from every red-blooded heterosexual male, whether they're in a relationship or not, Christopher Nolan, we thank you.
Thank you, Nolan.
A round of applause for Christopher Nolan.
But there is a couple of more things.
And a round of drinks for Ab.
We must really thank you for.
Yes.
Firstly, finishing the Bat trilogy.
Yes.
In a awesome way.
This is the most serious show we've ever done.
Casting every person perfectly.
All great.
Whether it will be Alfred with Michael Caine, the Batman, and Bruce Wayne as Christian Bale, or a certain Miranda Tate, or should I say Talia al Ghul.
Bum, bum, bum.
I believe the name, I'm probably getting this wrong, is Marion Cotillard. I believe that's it. It's French. I don't really care. She was just fucking fit.
At this point, the listeners are going, fuck the real name. Talia?
Yes, Talia al Ghul is revealed right at the end. It's a twist. And fuck your friend on Facebook. The twists were there for a reason. It meant it was not just pandering. It wasn't there for no fucking reason. They all led up. And if you look back on the movies, all of the movies, you've seen that they all made sense.
Exactly.
And one more thing. Batman is not a horror thriller film. It is a comic book movie, an action epic. And actually, Christopher Nolan has taken away the comic book movie and just made it must-watch films.
If you're... I know pure-blooded Marvel people who went to see this and loved it.
I'm a comic book, I'm a geek king, but the fact was it was excellent. I mean, and then we get into Anne Hathaway. In my opinion, it was great.
I wish we could get into Anne Hathaway.
And he can say stuff like that.
I can say it now.
You can do it now.
I know.
Well.
I could if
in theory.
In theory, you could.
I'd need the newest, biggest suit I could find.
No, Aaron, you just...
3 buttons is a bit 90s.
You just need a bottle of wine and your normal charm.
I need a new suit.
And possibly Rohypnol.
That is the beauty of Rohypnol. What?
Then you drink it by mistake. You wake up, fuck, she raped me.
Is it rape if I wanted to do it all along?
Is it rape? No, I think the worst part would be waking up and realising I didn't remember a bit of it, and no one would believe me.
The Bill Murray effect.
that is why.
You know what? It's a name I probably should bring up around. Fuck. I apologise, Bill, who is obviously listening.
And it is God amongst movies.
But yeah, I reckon that if any one of us, Stephen can't. If either you or me, Dan, managed to get with Anne Hathaway, we would have the crown.
I'm sorry, but it's not Anne Hathaway. It's Selena Kyle.
Selena Kyle, I'm doing on this.
Well, how about you have Selena Kyle and he has Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, that's a good enough deal for me.
Can I have Selena Kyle first? Because I don't want Anne Hathaway's sloppy second.
Well, no, it's because what you do is, you have Selena Kyle and Super Stacy. He has Anne Hathaway and Stacey Gilmore, because obviously separate people.
Well, that makes no sense because we know that Anne Hathaway and Selena Kyle are similar people, but Super Stacy and Stacey Cleaver are not even alike.
Yeah, but the exact same height.
No.
They are.
No.
They are.
Stacey is taller.
I'm afraid that's not true. They actually measure the heights are the same.
There's donuts over there. Stephen,
yeah.
We don't want to ruin the illusion for him, okay?
Oh, fine.
Where's donuts? Anyway.
He's out in the front street.
Oh.
Where donuts stand.
Oh, yes, there are donuts on the front street!
Dude! Chill the fuck out.
Stay cool, bud boy.
And remember,
you should shut the fuck up because you were a part of a movie franchise which sucked.
So of course
some men want to watch the World Bird, apart from Mr. Freeze.
Some men want to watch World Bird.
I arrested him.
He may have arrested him, sir, but he still went on to make The Expendables 2. So fuck him. If he could burn, I'd gladly watch.
So we had Selena Kyle and Hathaway.
I would take a sledgehammer to his frozen ballsack.
Okay.
Adam, who said you could use Stephen's fucking anti-perspirant? Once again, using shit without permission.
Mr. Michael Caine.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to wear your hat.
As you have
Next on the casting was, of course, we'll go back a bit. Heath Ledger was excellent as the Joker.
Oh, yes.
In The Dark Knight. Lucius Fox, excellently cast with God.
Morgan Freeman have now helped out 2 men called Bruce.
Morgan Freeman. It's a child. God!
Sorry. God!
Do you know God once plays Morgan Freeman?
He did. It was an interesting role. It didn't really work.
No.
I thought he was a bit off.
Yeah.
Didn't get that accent right at all.
No, just
Bruce.
It was South African or something stupid.
Yeah, Bruce. I'm God.
It was a rugby film.
Yeah. But of course...
And then the main one for me, the one that was perfectly cast in this film, there's 2 perfectly cast in this film. Gordon.
Of course.
Gary Oldman was cast perfectly.
Imagine if it was Gary Coleman and they got it wrong.
What you talking about, Batman?
What's up with that?
He's dead.
Okay. What you know about that? Oh, my arms fell off.
We're Russian again.
That would be funny. Because if you got zombie Gary Oldman, all you'd have to do is just stomp on him.
And then, just before I get into the one that's perfect cast in this film, you had Joseph Levitt cast as John Blake, or as his full name, Robin.
Bum, bum, bum!
Oh yeah. Lots of big moments in this film. So we had that, and there was also but the perfectly cast man, of course, was the man himself, Bane, Tom Hardy, in this. And the voice choice must have been it as well, because he's this big, hulking man, and then he talks like this upper-class English gent.
Well, he was taught by Ra's al Ghul.
Yes, and of course, we see Ra's al Ghul in the pit.
We see a bit of the Razzmatazz.
As what we believe is just a illusion figure. But there's no actual basis that it's not.
Well, here's the problem. Because if you think about it, the only thing he knows about the child that escaped is the fact that it was a child that escaped.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the appearance of Ra's al Ghul that was said, oh, it's the child of Ra's al Ghul. And then later on it's revealed not to be Bane but Talia.
Yeah.
So either he made a detective guess that was the son of, the child of Ra's al Ghul.
Well, Raz does say though, doesn't he? He goes, how many times did I tell you I'm immortal? And how many different ways is there one to be immortal?
There's more than one way of being immortal.
Yes. It's one of those ones. It's it's quite a cool little bit.
Very, very, very good.
And so you got Liam Neeson returns there as Ra's al Ghul. I mean, there's so many epic moments. The war in the third act.
Yeah.
The breaking of the bat where he breaks his bat perfectly, almost as if they just went, where's that shot from yep, there it is. Just like the comic.
What's awesome as well is the fact that all the subplots just work beautifully. Sometimes a movie can have so many subplots that it loses itself. This one did not lose it. And for all there's a lot of people online who say, that it was disappointing or was. I've got one thing, and normally I'm kind of like, people can have their opinion on movies. Seriously, fuck you. I don't know what exactly.
What was disappointing about this movie?
I mean, the plots worked. The casting was great. Even Christian Bale's managed to sort out that Batman voice of his. It looked great. It sounded great. The score was amazing.
Hans Zimmer did an excellent one.
The effects were good. What? I don't know what people's issue really was this movie.
It's basically because people think it's cool to not conform with what. See,
it's the hipster thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this hipster way of people being like, oh, it's.
Where's Adam West up your ass, motherfucker?
Whoa!
Hold on. That's one of my favorite Family Guy moments. Just Adam Wee. For no reason, he just takes up the West. Just puts Wee instead. He becomes Adam Wee and starts singing.
I'm sorry, but no. I won't have it.
I will.
Adam West is awesome.
He's not.
If you watch them Batmans from the 60s series, they are excellently comedy. They are great comedies. They are not supposed to be serious. They're supposed to be campy and comedy. Adam West plays it perfectly. And quite frankly, everyone goes, yeah, so did William Shatner in fucking Star Trek. No, Shatner thought he was serious. Yeah. West knew he wasn't.
But the thing is, I didn't like Shatner in Star Trek, and I didn't like Adam West in Batman. And I know it's meant to be comedy and all the jazz. That doesn't give you a license.
It is awesome.
Well, yeah, you can think that if you want to. I could think that he's shit.
How dare you?
Well, I don't think he's shit.
How dare you?
He's almost as... No. Yeah, he's almost as bad as George Clooney as Batman.
No!
George Clooney was definitely one of the worst Batmans of all time.
I'll give you that, but Adam West is not.
I think he is. It's our opinion, dude. You can think he's awesome, I can think he's shit. That's the way it works.
Yeah, and I think one of the... looking at messages, I was talking to a friend of mine, and one of their complaints about the film was that, when when Bruce was trying to climb up the pit, apparently it dragged out of it.
No.
My response was simply, it's meant to be a suspenseful scene where he tries and fails. It shows the kind of the regrowth into that kind of...
It was the rebuilding of the bat.
Yeah, it's the rebuilding of that.
But anyway, at the end of the day, great movie. Alfred made me cry. Bastard.
Didn't make me cry.
Oh, Anne Hathaway did.
Oh! To be fair, you had all of the build-up, but not the effect.
Yeah, it stopped around about the chest.
Yeah.
He was pulling on the heartstrings very much.
I really cannot watch sad scenes in movies because I always try to get into the movie if it's a sad scene. I don't always cry, but especially if it's involving a death, because the subject of death hits me.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the final one. Not to spoil too much, and we had warned you for spoilers, so if you are listening, it's your own fucking fault.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the film, Batman gets in the bat because there's a bomb that's going to go off, a nuclear device, so it has to be 6 miles away. So he gets it on the bat, and he's going to fly away out in the sea. And when he goes, don't, can't you just get it to go by itself? No autopilot. So you get there, and you see him, and he's flying away. And as you just see him, before it blows up and whatnot, you see him, he doesn't look upset that it's going to happen, he looks kind of content that this is how it's going to end.
Yeah.
It looks very much like, this is going to how it ends. It's supposed to. Whereas the whole way through the film, you thought, well, the guy's got a death grip, a death wish. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see that he was content with this is how it's going to end. And then you find out, you go through all the situations, and the Alfred comes back again and fucking breaks your heart again for like the fifth time in the film. For the fifth time in the film, and we haven't even got to the last scene in the film. We think, this is the last time we're going to see Alfred. Apparently not.
Nope.
No, this time he says that he's over Bruce Wayne's grave when they're having a small little intimate thing of those who knew who the Bat was. You've got Gordon there.
Robin.
John Blake is there. I believe Lucius and Alfred.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure, someone told me the other day what Gordon's reading is A Tale of Two Cities.
Could be.
It's a passage from A Tale of Two Cities. And he's basically, you're a far better man than me and all this, that, and the other. And Alfred looks, and you see him the screen pulls away, and you see that he's there at the graveside, and he's telling Martha and Thomas Wayne, "I'm sorry, I failed you." And I believe that is the point when everyone's starting to go, "Oh no!"
Yeah, at that
point, the teardrop was halfway down my face.
I'm sorry, I failed you.
I saw Javs in rows behind us crying, and I was like, "Dear sweet Jesus."
I'm good.
And that was the point where you're going, oh shit, this is going to break everyone. This is a scene that breaks everyone. And then you get on to Lucius Fox, and he's trying to go, can you just tell me what's wrong? What about the autopilot? Why? I just need to know something. If it was something I could have done. So it looks as if the autopilot's already been patched. Can you tell me whose name it's under? Oh, Bruce Wayne. And that's when the first inkling is, oh shit, he's not dead. And then you go on, but we've seen him blow up. He's gonna be dead. He can't survive a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
He's Batman, not Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had himself a pretty damn good shield. He borrowed it off Liam Neeson. However, moving on, from that, and then you sit there and go, all right. And then you see Commissioner Gordon as the Batman statue is erected, for lack of a better term, unveiled in I believe looks like it's the prison, the police station, but it could also be
could be anywhere.
what you call it, the trial, the courthouse.
Yeah.
You see that, and he's looking, disproud and all that, and because of course the world doesn't know Bruce Wayne saved them, and they think it was Batman. They don't know the two are the same.
Mm-hmm.
We see Alfred. Earlier on, he mentioned this holiday he used to take every year, where he'd take a glass of some sort of wine, not a Chianti with some fava beans. Completely different actor, but people keep getting mistaken. It's understandable. No, it's fucking not. You see him there, and he says what he used to do is look over and hope that one day he'd see Bruce there with a wife and maybe some kids. During the 7 years he was gone from Gotham before Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That, and he wouldn't look over and say hello, and I think Batman would just look up, Bruce would give him a nod of acknowledgement, Alfred would do the same, and he'd be content with that. Well, of course, we get to him, he's in the same restaurant, orders a little glass, he sits his paper down, and he looks over to the table he previously hadn't looked, and Bruce Wayne looks up and gives him a little nod, and he's sitting there listening to Kyle, and Alfred just gets a little teary, and decides to get up and leave. And you're after acknowledging him, and you're like, that's really fucking cool.
For once, a truly happy ending.
Yeah, and what more? You want Batman? He gave you Batman.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, John Blake has already gone up, and that's where you find out his full name is Robin. Yeah. His legal name. And that he was given this, I believe it's like this rafting gear and harnesses and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fucking hell. And then, so you got that, and he's got to go through, he's been given the directions to the Batcave.
Yeah.
And he walks into the Batcave, and he walks onto the station of where the suit used to come up and everything used to come up, and then suddenly everything starts to come up, and as it comes up, we fade to black, and while you're sitting there going, that's a really nice ending, more of you is, half of me, like, not even half, a third of me went, that's a really good ending, the rest of me was going, show me more! Don't leave me like that!
Don't leave me this way.
I can't survive.
I'm sitting there going, please don't leave me. I can't do this. I love you. I'll change. I promise you, I'll change.
But that was The Dark Knight Rises.
But that was an excellent emotions. I believe Bane was one of those ones nobody was looking forward to, and that was expertly cast.
Oh, it was just Tom Wright, fantastic choice. But yeah, now that we've kind of covered a lot of that, we're going to, before we get into all the plugin, we're going to do a brand new game we've got for the show based upon so we did the beginning of the new format. We're going to play a brand new game called Beat Akinator. But basically, we're going to take it in turns each week to pick a person, and the other two guests are going to compete against Akinator to say their guesses. Now, I'm going to be the guy who comes up with the person first of all, and then I'm going to read out the questions that Akinator asks. I'll answer it, and if any of you guys think you know who it is, just say. In fact, let's use your quiz buzzers. So Dan,
Boom,
and Adam, right? If you think you know who it is, to do with that, I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Then we move on, alright? Now, you've got all the way up until Akinator's final guess to try and get her, okay? So I'm going to think of a person. And to make it...
Selena Kyle.
Hang on.
Boom! I'm halfway.
I was about to say... to make it...
Boom!
Shut up! Ra's-al-Ghul.
Boom, Liam Neeson's cock.
To make it... It's only an icon.
I like that. Because you went, boom, then.
Okay.
Like top trumps.
So I've got a person. Hit the play button.
Is it a person?
Hang on. So I'm going to hit. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. First question asks, is your character's gender female? The answer is no.
Boo.
Does your character really exist? No.
Boo. Wait a minute, yay.
Does your character have human skin? Yes. Is your character American? Yes. Does your character belong to an animated cartoon? I'm going to say probably. Does your character wear a mask? Yes. Yes?
The question.
No. Is your character linked with the colour red? No. Does your character wear a cape? No. Is your character bad? No.
Hmm.
Does your character wear green? Yes. Yes?
Green Lantern?
No. Is your character from the Halo franchise? No. Can your character fly despite having no wings? No. Does your character use a bow? Yes.
Boom!
Yes?
Green Arrow.
That's correct! You've beaten Akinator!
To be fair, I thought of that when you said Green Lantern. I was just waiting to play it out.
So then, yeah, you beat Akinator. Okay, why don't I hand this over to you? Let me turn the brightness up because, I have this on super dark. Because that's how I
He was
see
the Batman of iPods.
it. That's the closest I get to being cool, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I tried doing the Christian Bale voice, but I don't.
I'm the Batman of iPods.
I'm the Batman of iPods.
That's pretty good.
Of the Batman of all ones.
I was in bed.
Oh.
Let that hear that. You know when he was recuperating, I was just
Alfred,
I didn't realize,
tell me a story.
but I didn't realize how quick this would be. So, we might as well sort of shut. So now Dan is going to think of a person, and we have to get to it.
while he's thinking of a person, I'd like to plug a app just while you're thinking. It's a very simple app, the Courage Wolf meme app for the iPod and iPhone. It is possibly one of the most entertaining apps I have, and all it is words on a screen. Like, for example, one of my favourite ones is just this: pain is temporary, and remember, chicks dig scars. Just, if you feel having a bad day, just pick this app up and just scroll through it. You'll laugh your ass off.
I got one.
Alright, here we go.
Whenever you're ready. Stephen, what's your buzzer?
Is your character female? No. Is your character real? No. Is your character a human being? Yes. Is your character a citizen of the United States? I don't know. From a video game? Probably. Black head? No. Bad? Ooh. Partially. From Marvel Comics? No. Oh. No, the crossovers don't count. Is your character from a Japanese animation / anime? No. Does your character come from the internet? No. Is your character from a TV series? Probably. Character from a Batman movie or comic? No. Does your character often wear a hat? No. Wear a mask? Yes. Does the name of your character appear in the title of a movie? No. Does your character use guns? No. Character live in America? Yes. Character linked with sports? No. Does the character wear a red suit? No. Character fight with a sword? No. Adult male? Yes. A superhero? No. Is your character abnormally large? I'd say abnormally large, no. Has your character ever been in a movie? No. Does your character have a nickname linked with animals? No. And I can need time to guess, by the way.
Okay, what's he guessing?
Slade from Teen Titans?
Yes, no.
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 At least he had a go.
Well, you've completely stumped us. I can't even remember half the fucking clues at this point.
Does your character fight? Yes. From a comic book? Yes.
Well, that's why I'm never guessing it.
Is your character black and white? No. Is your character yellow? Yes.
The Yellow Power Ranger.
From a comic book?
Yeah, Power Ranger comics, didn't they?
I don't believe so, no.
Is it?
But no. It's a male as well. Yellow Power Ranger was a female Chinese girl.
That was a bit weird.
No, because the black dude was a black Power Ranger. And
Is it the Creeper?
no. The character from DC Comics? Yes.
Are you sure it's not the Creeper?
Yes.
Is it alternate universe Aquaman?
No.
Going out on a limb with that one, but you know, may as well.
Is the character faster than a bullet? Yes. Oh wait, I can have a guess.
A really unlucky man.
No. I think of Professor Zoom. Correct.
Who's Professor Zoom? Who
He's
the fuck's
the,
Professor Zoom?
Oh, is he the one that causes Linda's
accident.
Pretty much,
Yes.
he's the reverse Flash, basically.
He causes Linda from Flash to have a miscarriage.
He's a Flash villain, he's a reverse Flash.
Never heard of him.
I did until I did my homework.
Alright, Adam?
Okay.
By the way, what time are we on for the show?
We're well within time. Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left of the show.
Nice one.
So,
Okay then. Is your character an adult male? Yes.
Boo.
Does your character have British origins? No.
Boo.
Has your character really existed? No. Is your character from a TV series? Yes. Does your character belong to an animated cartoon? No. Does your character live in America? Yes. Does your character mostly play in comedies? Don't know. Was your character in a TV show that already ended? No.
Boom.
Yes?
Bonnie Stinson.
Correct.
and on that bombshell, it's time for the shameless plugging.
Yeah.
So basically, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shout the Show, and you can follow us on Tumblr at shouttheshow.tumblr.com, where you can find all the video clips of the show, and you can find from now on the hashtag fancast results with the pictures of the people we've chosen. Our resident artist Reyes Cannon can be found on cannonball.deviantart.com. That is CANNONBAWL.deviantart.com. And of course, there is always Twitter. Follow Adam at the Lone Walker 1. That is the Lone Walker number 1. Or you can follow Geek King at Geek King. That is G number 3 K_KING.
It's the same username for Tout as well.
Exactly. So that's G33K_KING.
And Facebook is Geek King, all one word.
Yeah. And then you've got me, Stephen03 at SteveJones313. That is Steve Jones, number 3. And also, if you prefer watching the videos in separate, basically prefer each episode as separate videos to make it easy for your download rate, just visit us at blip.tv/shout. You know, that's our shout. That's the Wonder Angel, actually. I got my own site wrong. Yay, I'm awesome.
Belarus!
Belarus and Belize, that's what I should be.
I want a shout merch shirt that just says Belarus!
Our next episode 20, will be on August 11th, which actually happens to be Adam's and my older brother's birthday. Yes, and that is
Older brother?
Yes, our older brother.
Oh yeah.
You have an older brother, Adam.
I genuinely forgot for a minute.
Wow, that's how close our family are. And on that bombshell, it's goodbye from Adam.
Good day!
Goodbye from Dan.
Peace!
And goodbye from me. And we will see you next week on hashtag
Shout!